Hi, what if I did a show where I analyzed and saw a pair of kerfuffles on my world, not beyond? I'm your host, Lexi Old, author of Seven Secret Source Inspiration, a snappy guide for creative procrastinators. And joining me are guests Kid Nate of Bloody Elbow and Literal Podcast, and John Nash. So, Nate, you're the UFC.
I knew it. I knew I was going to be the UFC this week.
How do you convince your fans, live and in public, if you will, to pay for their UFC pay window fix via Fight Pass and ESPN Plus without overdosing?
You don't even worry about it. You just count the money. The ridiculous amount of money that they got from ESPN for this deal is just, it's a monument to somebody's bargaining panache, because this makes no sense for Disney. There's no way they recoup this. This is a desperate effort to pump some life into a streaming service that they're trying to kick off. And hats off to the UFC, because I didn't think they could do this shit. I thought for sure they were going to come up short, and it looks like they're going to come out ahead of what they schemed to get for the TV rights, because they still have the TV rights themselves to sell. This puts them in a position where they can meet their goals and take the Fox offer for $200 million, right? John, you muted.
I muted so I wouldn't interrupt you. Then I couldn't find the damn button. So.
Couldn't find it. The story. We don't need to hear about your love life, Schneiderman. Like
that, you're jumping ahead. Stay on track.
Sorry. I mean, like, all I'm saying is the UFC, they don't give a fuck. This deal's gonna go till 2023, and they'll have sold this company by then and walk on down the street. They don't care if anybody watches. They monetizing, baby, monetizing.
Yeah, they got to do like 2.5 million.
You haven't been introduced. This isn't your segment yet. Alexi can let Alexi do his job.
Over, you exceeded. You didn't stay in your lane. You went and you brought in. You lured John in.
It's the
making him think that it was his turn.
I was answering the motherfucking question that he asked,
and now he's cursing.
That's cursing. Right. Yeah.
Foul.
Oh, this is the John Nash I know, baby.
Okay, let me put a quarter in the jar, motherfucker. Okay.
So John, how do you justify the money?
Okay, let's
go to the UFC.
Just want to be clear. It's my turn to speak, right? My turn?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Just making sure.
You can finish.
Okay, good. I agree. I unfortunately agree with Nate. I hate to say that, but Nate's right. They don't care. The fans are addicted. Today's show, Nate was throwing money out left and right for a piece of crap card. Just shows you the fan mindset that they're willing to spend money on the worst stuff already. So we're already addicted to the UFC. They already know they have a base of fans that'll pay for it. The price is kind of huge. You got to basically get 2.5 million subscribers to make that 150 million per year. Maybe with all the other stuff coming in, maybe they figured a way to do it, but that's a ton of money and I don't see how they'll get that many subscribers. And I can't help but be a little bit distracted by Nate, because my screen's going to him, even though he's on mute, obviously. So
that's your problem. That's not my problem.
I don't know. It's throwing me off. I don't know why it's going to you. Why do I get a full image of you? But again, they don't care. They're gonna make a lot of money. They're gonna get their Fox deal. Probably Fox is my guess, for 200 to 250 million. That means the ESPN deal is matching their current Fox deal, and they really don't have to cut the fighters in. So that means the next 200 250 million from Fox goes right to EBITDA, which goes right into their pockets. So they're doing pretty good. It's good to be the king, and just mosey on along. Just tell your fans to suck it up and pay more money.
Yeah, every time I said that, the greater fool theory was not going to work, they found the greater fool here, because this is just dumb money. And I thought ESPN was slashing staff and brutal cutbacks on profitable businesses. And, I don't know.
But everybody's spending money on the streaming. I mean, look at Matchroom today. Just announced a $125 million deal for, what's that, DNZ, DAZN or whatever, DAZN. Site that's 125 million in boxing. So that's just one of the 5 major promoters. All the others are probably flocking to all the other streamers in the future. There'll be hundreds of millions to be thrown out there as well.
And here we are giving it away to YouTube for nothing.
Oh no, there you go.
And I'm sorry I dropped the F-bomb because we lost our monetization today. That means so.
Yeah. They do that at random. It doesn't have anything to do with what you say.
Well, the good thing is, if the shoes fit is not monetized, so you can drop as many F-bombs as you want.
Oh, I will. Believe me.
That's right. So
Totes
save it for
freedom.
that. There we go. So, John, you're the UFC. Are you concerned by Mackenzie Dern's commitment to MMA after her comments on being fired by her coach? Quote, and I'm not going to have the fake Brazilian accent. Quote, I'm not just training. I'm not the person that the next day I'm back in the academy. I like to be able to be on the beach and relax, end quote.
Well, this is the same answer as the last one. The UFC doesn't care. They don't need to. All roads lead to the UFC. So all fighters have to come to the UFC. So basically, they just sit and see. They have to. That's why they don't have to promote fighters. They don't have to work on them. They just sit around and see who's got it, who does it without them putting any effort, and then choose that and then go, that's the guy we're going to put our effort behind because he's already done 90% of the lifting. We'll take it the last, I'm going to mix up all my metaphors here. We'll take the last 10 yards into the end zone at this point. So that's their, again, all I'm getting is Nate's reactions looking at me, just shaking his, that's all I get is a full screen of that, is him being disappointed in my answer. It's really disconcerting. I'm telling you the truth. But they don't care.
He's fucking with me.
He is. It's intentional. Make him stop. Make him stop. But they don't care. If she doesn't work out, if she can't handle it, they'll just move on to the next person. So that's my answer. If I'm the UFC, again, don't care.
What about you, Nate?
Repeat the question for the audience, not for me.
Oh, yeah.
Steel trap.
You're the UFC.
Yeah,
Are you concerned by Mackenzie Dern's commitment to MMA after comments on being fired by her coach, which I'm not going to do in the Mackenzie Dern fake Brazilian accent?
So you actually scripted that. I was going to tease you about that. And
I didn't script it. I just made it up in our steel trap, baby.
Exactly. I see.
I'm not just training. I'm not. Yeah. So you remember it now. Okay.
Yes. They don't. Yeah. Just like John said, they don't care. They don't care. No, it's sad. I mean, I was looking at this card today. We did a whole show on how shitty the card was today, and I lied and pretended that I was going to watch it and cared about the fights, but my God, they're peddling hot garbage right now. Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. It doesn't make any difference.
See, what I would do if I were them is when she does lose, it's not necessarily going to be this weekend, but when this backfires, the Mackenzie Dern experiment, then they can have her talk like a Valley girl again, right? Do a WWE pro wrestling kind of angle. It's like, you know what? Reason why I lost is because, I wasn't in touch with my roots. I need to be in touch with my U.S. Valley girl, dropping some likes, have that kind of thing going on,
What if she went up to Alaska and trained with Bristol Palin?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, they throw down. I mean,
I'd pay to see that.
I would too.
Serious.
Invite some Russians over.
Oh! They can see him from the porch.
They come over, get some Russians to train with her.
Yeah.
The gimmick writes itself.
Yes.
Does the accent bother you?
Yes. Yeah.
What's your theory on that? What do you think it is? Do you think it's like since she's dating a Brazilian guy and she's embracing the Brazilian side that like she's overcompensating?
I've known people that were so vacuous and such followers that they would start talking like whoever they were hanging around. And it's been a long time. It was in Dallas like right after high school. So that might be right where she's at. Just, like I'm thinking of like kids from Texas that went mod and started speaking in British bad British accents in the 80s and riding around on Vespas.
But like Kirsten Darby, remember he was from Florida, and then he put on this fake British accent and pretended he was from the UK and had the that dude was from Florida, man.
Do kids even pretend they're from the UK anymore? Is that even a thing? Like,
bloody hell if I knew. What about you, Sean?
I just think she's going through her Madonna UK phase. So That's where Madonna suddenly started speaking with a British accent, like out of left field. You're like, what is this? This reminds me of Breaking Away. Remember, he was imitating the Italians the whole
and shaving his legs.
Yeah, and biking and doing all the Italian stuff.
Do you remember Fade to Black with that same actor?
Oh yeah, the one where he plays all the different horror characters.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shitty movie, but I remember as a kid liking it.
I liked it a lot as a kid. I haven't seen it since.
Well,
Don't ruin it for me. No spoilers.
Well, something that we all like. Nate, you're Cyborg.
The fighter or a cyborg?
That's right. Are you gunning for what? The fighter.
Yeah.
Are you gunning for a boxing? Which fighter? Are you gunning for a boxing match with Cecilia Brækhus or just a bigger UFC contract?
Here's the thing. With Cyborg, when she's talking, she doesn't know what she's doing, or if she has a plan, it's going to backfire. There's no chance that what she's trying to do is going to get her the outcome she thinks she wants. So I believe that she thinks Conor McGregor got a boxing match and made buku money. I, too, would like a boxing match and get buku money. The problem is there's no women boxers that draw. And Cyborg barely draws in the UFC and then has this terrible relationship with the UFC such that she, can't. Can you explain, John, how she didn't – was she supposed to be on this card this weekend? What happened there?
I don't know. She was supposed to, and then the fight fell through. They couldn't sign the right fight. All the squabbling. I don't know. It's a typical. Remember, she was originally supposed to fight Amanda Nunes.
That's what I thought. That's the fight that fell through.
Then they booked Cyborg to fill in last minute for that previous card. But I can't say she's not a draw. She actually her numbers
she is
are
a draw.
higher.
I said that medium draw for the UFC.
Tell me when you're done. Then I'll interrupt you.
I like this new thing where I ask you to come in, then tell you to stop, and then tell Alexi to call you. Alexi, call John in. I'm taking over the show.
Oh, man. John.
Okay, I had to wait. I can't say anything until I get invited in. That's the rule, apparently.
Nate's in the Eugene seat this week.
Okay, so I'm Cyborg. What's funny about Cyborg is I laugh at her because she seems so bad at negotiations, her and her team. At the same time, eventually she kind of gets what she wants. She got in the UFC event. She didn't get the Ronda fight, but she did get a Holly Holm fight. She does got a big contract that pays her, much more than any other female fighter, except for probably Holmes. And that's hers is only on back end Holmes. So she gets $500,000 guaranteed plus pay-per-view points. And she does make enough on pay-per-view to actually get some sort of bonus. And she seems to be finagling to get on bigger cards. So, I mean, who's to say, part of it too, maybe there's some weird legacy thing that she's resentful that her name is not as well known. And she figures if she goes to boxing, she can go against the best female boxer and she can make a bigger name that way. But
she would also get killed in a pure.
Oh, she's going to lose big time.
I mean, pasted. Remember when didn't she fight a Muay Thai fight?
Kickboxing, yeah. She did fight.
Yeah, and she got just she's a mixed martial artist. She's not a pure boxer. Terrible idea.
Terrible, but I could see her doing it. I don't see it making a lot of money though.
No.
It'll make more than any other female boxing match would because there's probably some interest in HBO, Showtime. Someone could put it on and give you a couple million license fee, but you're not going to get the big pay-per-view numbers.
No.
The only time she would is if it was celebrity boxing. And the question is, who would she have to go against?
Screech from Saved by the Bell. Do you remember the beating he put on Potsy or whatever? No, it was the kid from Welcome Back, Kotter. That kid, the ancient. Horseshack. Yeah, who didn't seem to know it was actually a fight. I've probably watched that fight 8 times because Screech was huge, and gunning for him, and Horseshack was some middle-aged.
Yeah, but the worst than that though was Celebrity Boxing 2 when they had Joey Buttafuoco beat up China.
Yes.
That to me, that was really painful to watch because you have China. Joni Lara built up through her wrestling is that she's a beast and fucking sloppy ass Joey Buttafuoco is manhandling her and clowning her the entire fight. It's just
Yep. These days, think how political it would be.
Tell you this, Cyborg would beat up a lot of guys. I met her, and
she would be the piss out
and
of me.
you know, I'm a big guy, and I looked at her and I'm like, I can't believe this. She would kick my ass. She literally would kick my ass. You can just see the way she would, and not using jujitsu and getting me to the ground and you know using her technique over my size. No, she would just make me stand up and just get hit repeatedly, and then you know.
See, I think she can make a lot of. I think the sport for her, I think the avenue for her to make the kind of money that she's looking for. I'm telling you, she and Gabby Garcia as the female road warriors.
Yes.
In professional wrestling, like just brutalizing and terrorizing people. Telling you.
Show up in the WWE to challenge Rousey and all of her stuff. Like, you can't run from me anymore.
Oh yeah, that would be gold. But Ronda would run. She would flee the WWE. I think.
No, she'd win. She'd have it so that she wins. That's the closest.
You think Ronda knows it's scripted?
What if Cyborg shot on her though in the middle of it?
Yeah. See, I think so, that.
Wouldn't you pay for that? I don't even like pro wrestling, and I'd pay for that.
I just want to see Gabby Garcia in the WWE.
I just want to see Gabby Garcia fight Cyborg.
Yeah, I think
it'd be Bob Sapp versus Crow Cop, right? Wouldn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. I think Gabby's tougher than that.
Well, since I brought up the spirit of the Hall of Fame Road Warriors, John, who is in your Legion of Doom?
Okay, this is a worthy choice. At first, I didn't think this guy is a Legion of Doom member because it's not a super villainry type crime being a drug dealer. But then it hit me. Everything he does checks off something of a super villain. So this week's member is Dr. Benjamin, Johnny Benjamin. And the reasons he's in the Legion of Doom is one,
because we're never going to see him again.
Yeah. For one, okay, he's a doctor, and every good villain's a doctor, right? That's one. Two, he caught us all by surprise. He was in a secret identity that none of us suspected. I mean, and he's a reporter. You never suspect the reporter. They're supposed to be on the good side investigating villains. And then you find out he's like Mr. The Mr. Big from Spider-Man. Remember the Ditko character was Foswell? Was Foswell? What the
Yeah.
But so that's two. Three, it's basically Walter White. He's printing his own drugs, running a secret empire in Orlando. And he's also four, he was very callous about it. Reminded me of the Third Man, Orson Welles' character, when he was pointing out all the ants. Supposedly when someone died, he said it's just another person on the file or whatever. I can't remember what he said, or brick on the file, something like that. Like, very callous. Didn't care that his fentanyl that he made killed someone. So my new Legion of Doom member, very fitting, I think. Doctor. And he also has the last thing, he has a great nickname. He already has a nickname. He's the Fight Doc. You got Doc. You got the Fight Doc. It's just like he's everything you need to be a supervillain. Dr. Johnny Benjamin, the newest member of Legion of Doom, gets to sit next to, I think he's between Sinestro and Gorilla Grodd now.
Nate, who's in your heel turn?
Well, it was going to be Dr. Johnny Benjamin. I had prepared an elaborate bit. I had a solid 3.5 minutes of comedy gold, but now it's all ruined, thanks to Mr. Nash. Now it's Dana White, and this fucking Leslie Smith thing isn't my problem. Can he not even pretend to be doing the job that he took a pay cut to take? Like, what is Dana White doing exactly, other than dropping Ariel Helwani in the grease last week, which was one of the more merciless.
What happened?
The whole Helwani thing.
Refresh for the viewers that don't.
The viewers, let's see. John, can you explain the Helwani thing? I can explain the Helwani thing. What do you think? I'm drunk? Okay. So, who's the fighter? Come on, tell me who the fighter was. Some chick fighter.
Now I'm drawing a blank. God
the Ultimate Fighter inaugural 115? What weight class is she in? Champion.
She's supposed to fight Valentina.
She's Navajo.
Yeah. And so
the Navajo fighter.
Helwani tweets that the UFC's frustrated with her and blah, blah, blah. And then she comes back with all this, no, they're not. I've been sick and they know it and all this shit, which none of that means anything. Like, fans and fighters. Did I go off on this? I didn't go on this last week.
Because you weren't here last week.
That's right.
So you were watching it from home and like, oh shit, you still had your segment.
Yeah, the fans and fighters do not get how media relations work. Facts have nothing to do with it. Helwani's reporting what he's been told, and it was an opinion of the UFC. And Dana's just going to take every opportunity he can to drop Ariel in the grease. Just Google Dana White lies and see how trustworthy Dana White is. You can't believe anything coming out of Dana's mouth. And then, anyway, it was a nonsense kerfluffle. But that wasn't even the heel turn this week. It was Dana's whole saying the Leslie Smith independent contractor lawsuit is not his problem. Well, what is your problem, Dana? I mean, you're not taking a hand in booking the fights. I was actually pleased when he rousted himself to drop Helwani in the grease and shit all over him, because at least it was a sign of life. Like, at least he's talking about something other than boxing or his bad Contender show, which is going to be on ESPN Plus. So, anyway, I don't know where I'm going with the heel turn, but there we are.
Nico Montano.
Yes.
That hit me. So
yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, Dana's he's made his money, and actually I spoke to like 6 different fighters, ex-fighters, and most of them are older, retired. They kind of say the same thing. When you're young, you just you don't realize that the promoter's not trustworthy. And as you were saying there, promoters, it's a hard lesson they have to learn.
Yeah, and they just never do. They never do. Did y'all see what Matt Riddle? Here's another heel turn. Matt Riddle Ben Folkson at MMA Junkie did an interview with Matt Riddle, and who's a pro wrestler now, a former UFC fighter, and highlighted a quote from Riddle that I thought was pretty insightful. That he was like comparing WWE to Shakespeare, which I know Luke Thomas was just loving, and saying, it's like the fans know you're playing a role, and if you're the bad guy, they boo you. If you're the good guy, they cheer you on. Whereas the UFC, it's just like, they just want to see blood in the arena, and they don't care who's winning or losing. They're just ready for savagery. And is he right? Is he right? Is this what we are? Is this what we've become? I'm wearing mattress ticking on my chest, talking about pro wrestling. My dreams have all come true. All right. That's the heel turn.
Thank you for joining us. Follow us on Twitter at KidNate, at Alexio, at Hey Not The Face, Facebook MMA Pancholis. Please give us a thumbs up. Nate!
Finally, it's done right. The thumb.
Leave comments on YouTube, MMANation.com, on YouTube, MMA Nation, on iTunes. Visit Bloody Elbow. Buy Seven Secret Source Inspiration. Listen to the Let It Roll podcast. And immediately follow the show. Be sure to check out a non-MMA show, If the Shoes Fit, on YouTube at If the Shoes Fit. Link should be below. We'll be back next week with another installment, If I Did It. We don't know what we're going to be talking about yet because appear mistakes have yet to be made.